faculty. We're all really excited to see you here today. Do leave us a comment, let us know that you're here, let us know what course you're studying, and let us give you a little shout out and say congratulations on your results, because we're all about celebrating and welcoming you into our lovely DMU family. So we're joined by some of our lovely faculty members today to tell you all about life in arts, design and humanities, or ADH as it's also known as. So if you hear that, it's just another name for faculty, so don't worry. This is a Q&A session for you, most importantly. So if you have any burning questions, worries, concerns, want to know anything about the faculty or the university as well, do leave us a comment. We'll come to your questions after we've told you a little bit more about the faculty. So what we're going to do now is go round everyone that we've got in the live stream today and introduce them for you. There we go. Hi, Claire.
Hi, so I'm Dr. Claire Orwin. I'm the Associate Dean Academic for the faculty. What that means is I'm responsible for all the different academic provision that we have in the faculty. So about your programmes, about managing around your assessment results, etc. So I really look forward to welcoming you to our faculty. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. And welcome Jo onto the screen as well. Hello, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you. Lovely to be here today. Looking forward to welcoming you all to the faculty. So my name's Jo Burt and I'm the Administration Manager for the faculty. That means that I look after everything to do with your student record and the administration of your time here at the university, which includes registration through to assessment boards, through to graduation.
Lovely, thank you. Who have we got next? Let's see. It's a bit of a lottery today. Hello, we've got Paul. Hi, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Montfort University. I'm Paul McNichol. I'm Associate Professor Student Experience to the faculty. So I work with Claire on all of the academic and student experience work around the faculty. My personal subject area is fashion and textiles, so I may come across some of you if you're in the fashion and textiles school as you're working on the programme.
Lovely, thank you. And now we've got Joyce. Hi.
Hi, welcome everybody to De Montfort University and the Faculty of Arts, Design and Humanities. I'm Joyce Frank. I'm the Deputy Administration Manager, so I work closely with Jo to help our admin staff look after your student records, and I also work closely with Diani, who looks after the Student Advice Centre. So I work closely with Diani to look at any student support that we have for you here.
Lovely, thank you. We've also got Diani here as well. She's having a few technical issues. Oh, it looks like we can't see her still at the moment. Hopefully we'll get to introduce her to you later. She's very lovely. So it would be great for you to meet her today. So we'll remove her again for now, but we will keep trying. So we've got everyone here today. So now we're going to hand over to Claire, who is going to tell you all about arts, design and humanities for you.
Hi everyone. So as I said before, welcome to the Faculty of Arts, Design and Humanities. Really delighted that you've joined us on this live stream and really delighted that you're going to be joining us in our faculty. It might be the opportunity that you've already had to visit us face to face, or it may have been that you've visited us virtually. But what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about the faculty, give you some brief background, and then also talk about what we've done in light of the challenges this year. I'll start by explaining a little bit more about the faculty, then our schools, find us on campus, who's who you'll first meet when you come here, and then talk about different steps for your learning experience this year. Hopefully by the end of it, you'll feel a little bit more familiar and it will answer some of your queries. Obviously in faculty, we want to give you the best student experience possible. It's really important for us that we give you the tools for what you want to be in the future, whether that be a designer, a writer, a researcher, a performer. You know, we're obviously quite a broad faculty and we cover lots of subject areas. Art and design has been taught at DMU for 150 years, so we have a really strong heritage and we're really proud of that heritage. The faculty itself is divided into 3 schools. So the School of Art, Design and Architecture, as you would expect, is the home of our visual arts, architecture, design programmes such as product design, interior design and design crafts. Our School of Fashion and Textiles is the home of our fashion and textiles programmes, and these range from sort of design-based programmes, more technically based programmes, and those that have got a bit more of a business focus. And our School of Humanities and Performing Arts is the home of our English, creative writing, history programmes, as well as our performance arts subjects. As well as being the home for the programmes, these particular schools also have their own research activities and their own commercial and external links to make sure that they stay completely relevant to give you that most contemporary curriculum. Part of what we really like to do within the faculty is to work externally with parties and industries. We have opportunities in many of our programmes to work on live projects, industry projects, competitions, and these really give our students the opportunity to work on real life challenges that have maybe been posed by people within industry or other partners. Some of these are really subject specific and might be working with a particular company in a particular course, and others might be national or international, allowing you to compete across a broader range of students across the country or even on a worldwide scale. We also have other things that help to create that sort of relevance in terms of your work and those commercial aspects. So our undergraduate students all are able to do a year-long placement as part of their programme. We also have a dedicated placement team and placement tutor that can support you with that. The only exceptions is where we've got very specific programme regulatory body requirements. We also have lots of external speakers that come in to add extra content to our programmes that can really share their practice and add what they do in their professional work. Another thing that we do, and we're very proud of in the faculty, is our showcasing. We're a very creative faculty, so we promote our students' work both internally and externally. So internally, we have things like our annual degree show, which showcases our design, visual arts, fashion, textiles and architecture programmes. So this is an image from 2019. This is one of our footwear graduates, Dimitri. He won a competition, the YKK Accessories Award winner, which is an example of part of our successes. And it was also got second place in terms of the Cordwainers Footwear Student of the Year at Graduate Fashion Week. In terms of the showcasing more externally, we do showcase at other more national venues such as Graduate Fashion Week, such as New Designers, just to name a couple. And Dimitri's work was actually recognised at Graduate Fashion Week, and he actually ended up securing a placement with Givenchy, which was very exciting. As obviously this year, things were a little bit more challenging. Our degree shows normally in June, but you know, we didn't sort of rest on our laurels there. Instead, we did a online showreel and other sorts of types of showcasing we do, such as our performing arts subjects. They tend to do like a university dance festival. Our drama students work with a local theatre that we partner with, Curve, and they normally do performances. Again, another example of how we adapted to that based on the climate that we faced in the spring was our performing arts studio. We're working with a performance theatre company, an external performance theatre company, Gecko, and they created a specific performance that really sort of celebrated staying apart whilst being together, and this premiered on YouTube as a virtual performance. It was just another good way of sort of showing how we've adapted to those changes. Like I say, some of you may have had the chance to visit us physically, but some of you may not have. So I just wanted to go through what buildings we mainly are housed in. So we have three key buildings. At the VJ Patel building, which is part of the centrepiece of our sort of new campus development. This brings together all the art and design programs together in sort of very sort of flexible spaces and studios, which are really designed to sort of help to sort of support your creativity. If you haven't seen firsthand, we have workshops that are sort of surrounded by glass that allow you to really see in and see that creative process in action. We also have the PACE building, which is recognised as a Centre for Excellence in Performing Arts by the Higher Education Funding Council, and this includes spaces for performance such as studio, rehearsal rooms, etc. Another building that's one of our key buildings is the Cleffan building, and this is the home for our humanities subjects, and a lot of our performance staff, performing arts staff, are based there. Within our buildings, we have student advice centres, and we have these both within the Cleffan building and the Vijay Patel building. This is an image of the advice centre, and you can see some of the changes that we've put in place if you've visited before in light of COVID. The student advice centres are there to really help and support you with your studies. They're a sort of one-stop shop beyond your programme team for other things that you might be have questions about or need support on. So it could be anything from your student ID card, it could be having little issues in terms of how you're settling in, or you're wanting to contact your personal tutor and you don't know where to find their details. If you contact them, either go face to face, obviously, if you're already on site, but alternatively email them and someone from their team will come back to you. To also support you, you'll get a programme handbook along with many other things that you'll receive, and that contains lots of general useful information across the university, the faculty, and specific programme information. So do look out for that, because it's a really good, useful resource. You'll meet lots of people when you get onto site, and that'll be, really nice and exciting. The key people that you will deal with will be your programme leader, who's responsible for the design and delivery of your programme, your personal tutor, and this is often a member of staff from the same subject team, and they can support you with sort of general academic matters, personal concerns that you might have related to DMU. And please, if you ever feel you have any issues, please just have conversations with people. We really want to support you and really want to make sure that your time with us is really fulfilling and reaches all your expectations. We also have module leaders who are responsible for the modules or the sort of the subjects within your programme that you will study, and then the programme team who will collectively deliver that programme of study, and they may change year to year dependent on the modules you study. So just to let you know the sort of things that we've put in place to help to support students, noting that this is a blended learning and how students' university life will work this year, particularly in light of the challenges that everybody's faced around COVID. So in terms of the university themselves, there's a DMU IT handbook, which contains lots of really useful information about our virtual learning environment that you use to access some of your learning resources on, specialist software, how to access our virtual labs and IT equipment. We have a DMU future microsite that some of you may have already looked at, which has got a whole host of information about teaching and learning, life in Leicester. It's a great source of information as well if any of our international students are with us today who've got specific queries. And it has lots of FAQs on there and is really regularly updated. We also take, obviously, our health and safety of our students and staff as paramount. So we have Your DMU Safety, which brings together all our health and safety information to a microsite. And we also have the DMU Safe Trace, which is a location registration system that's designed to support students and staff and visitors on campus to be able to provide any tracing should that be necessary. DMU also has a shared commitment which really outlines the behaviours and the approaches that we have in place to keep you safe whilst you're at DMU. And I hope this helps to sort of assure you of all the really important steps that we've taken place. Within the faculty, we've looked at our programmes of study and really looked at what do we need to teach face-to-face and what can be supported remotely to give you that blended learning. We're obviously very practically orientated, and that's very important to us to maximise that contact. And we've modelled our on-campus teaching based on social distancing guidelines, creating a blended learning approach for our programmes. So what you'll find is you will have some face-to-face contact, you will have some online contact, some of that will be pre-recorded and you will pick that up in your own time, and some of that will be live and scheduled. And the pattern of that will really depend on your programme. So when you get your timetable, do look out for that and make sure you follow it carefully and look for any additional self-study you need to do between your classes. All our lectures, for example, will be delivered online in a pre-recorded way. Lectures normally impart information, so this works really well for those areas. Things like seminars where you may discuss topics with your tutors will be in a mixture of face-to-face or in online environments. And our practical activities, such as those that involve making, are obviously taught best face-to-face. So we very much looked at how we can use our workshops and our studio spaces really effectively to be able to provide access within the government guidelines. We've also looked at things like our assessments to make sure these can be conducted effectively. We've obviously had the experience of our current and graduating students who submitted their assessments remotely in May. So, for example, exams were adjusted to be delivered and submitted online. And more recently, we've been looking at group work in light of the new rule of 6, which restricts some of the social gatherings that the government has put in place. We're also using platforms like Blackboard Collaborate and Microsoft Teams to deliver our teaching activities and to have student meetings. And we've been using these now for a little while at DMU, so staff are really familiar with those. We obviously also use email, and we use Blackboard, which is our virtual learning environment where we house things like our learning materials, things like our programme handbooks, our self-study resources, etc. And there's more information about Blackboard in your IT handbook. So I hope that this helps a little bit more information and insight into the faculty, our schools and our buildings, and how we've adapted our student experience for this year. Really looking forward to welcoming you to the faculty, getting you settled into your programmes of study, and we're really excited for you to do the most of your time with us. Thank you.
Unmute my microphone there, classic error. Thank you, Claire. Thank you so much for giving us the rundown of ADH, and everybody in the comments have already sending in loads of lovely questions for us. So we'll move on to a Q&A now. Let's have a look. I'm just going to give some shout outs to you all because you've got 92 of you here today. We've got Suzanne, Valentine, Ali, Lisa, Zara, Lucas, Nathan. Hello, everybody. Let us know what course you're studying, and yeah, congratulations all for getting to DMU. We can't wait to welcome you. So we've got a question at the bottom there from Nathan, who's asking, how can we apply for placements?
So I'm happy to take that one. So in terms of placements, Nathan, it may depend in part what programme you're on. We do have an undergraduate placement option in all our programmes, excepting our BA architecture programme. And the only reason for that is because that particular programme, an architectural training, people tend to do their work experience after their degree has taken place. In terms of applying for placements, our students normally do them between their second and final year, and they're the year-long ones that they do. If you want to apply for placement, students can either find their own placement and then go to our placement office to get that be able to have that sort of verified and have any checks taken place. And we also post lots of placement opportunities that we have online via our careers platform. So that's where you can look at those. So that gives you a bit of an idea how you apply for placements. We do also in some of our programs have what I might call mini placements as well, that we tend to have in some of our humanities and our performing arts area. But obviously if you have any questions once you're here, Nathan, please see the placement unit or come to ADH Advice, and we'd be delighted to help you.
Lovely, thank you. And getting involved in a placement at DMU is one of the ways to really enrich your experience and boost your employability for when you leave. So if you're interested, definitely go to everywhere. There's so many places to look everywhere that Claire just told you, and everyone's always on hand to help you as well. Okay, so just before we move on to the next question, I think we've got Diani here as well now. Can you hear us? I hope she can. Do you want to say hello?
Is it muted? Oh,
there we are.
Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, we can. How are you? I think there must be a slight delay.
I can't hear anything.
Oh no! Well, it was lovely to say hello, albeit briefly. We'll get these technical issues ironed out, but we'll move on to the next question in the meantime. We hope to have a full chat with you before the end. So we've got this question in from Zara, asking, "Hi, what happens once you complete the registration form? Do you get an email after so you can access the uni systems?" I think you wanted to answer this one, Jo.
Yeah, I'll answer this one. So you should have all now completed online registration. If you completed online registration before the 16th of September, you will have also been asked to complete the confirmation of registration form. So I'm hoping that nearly all of you now have completed the confirmation of registration form. That's if you registered online before the 16th of September. If you registered online after the 16th of September, you don't need to fill in that second form. You just do online registration. We're now in the process of processing all your student records. So this is what the faculty office are doing at the moment. Some of you will have already got finalised status, some of you won't. What we'll be doing on Friday afternoon is sending an email to all of you just explaining how to access the systems. You'll need your student ID number and you'll need your password, which you would have changed from your date of birth when you registered online. So don't worry, you'll receive an email on Friday afternoon giving you that information and also directing you to a new area of Blackboard where we have IT guides and more information about induction.
Lovely. That's a really reassuring answer, Jo. Thank you. If you've got any more questions following the answer as well, do leave them in the comments for us. So we've got this one from Lisa now. Hi, Lisa. And she asks, are students in humanities, for example, English and media, able to participate in the annual degree show, or are they specifically design orientated?
So I'll take some of this, and Paul might want to add some things as well. So our degree show is primarily sort of visually orientated, and that's why it sits with those types of programs. Obviously, giving our students across the faculty opportunities to engage more broadly is really, really important. So English and media, obviously there may be opportunities around your media, which is actually in one of our other faculties. But in terms of your English and talking about humanities specifically, we do other things. So there are different other activities that our creative writing students do and our English students do to showcase their work that can be around sort of publishing, book orientated events as well that take place during the year. Plus we do things like a festival called Cultural Exchanges. So there are lots of other opportunities to be involved and to showcase your work and to work more with external parties.
Absolutely. Thank you, Claire. And the Cultural Exchanges Festival is one of the highlights of the calendar, of the university calendar, definitely, I would say. I'm a little bit biased because it's, of course, ADH, but we'll leave it at that. We've got another question now from Anita. Hi, Anita. On the fashion design course, they've asked, how do we work in the studio? Would that be in small groups or would it be one-to-one tutoring?
Do you want me to take this one?
Go for it.
Okay. So for fashion design is a good example because there will be a real blend of different styles of learning that you'll experience, where we've already discussed that lectures and some of the modules which can be delivered online will be, and then that frees up more time so that the practical workshops can still be accessed, and they'll be timetabled in smaller groups so that we can keep to social distancing guidelines. And it will be, you will have the full experience of all of those learning types and working with people from the programme as well as your peers as well.
That's great. Thank you. Did anyone else have anyone to add for that one, or are we all good? Happy? Lovely. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this one's from Angelika, who asks, what equipment will I need for interior design? Do I need to have a professional laptop or will a normal tablet be okay?
So I'm happy to take that. So Angelika, for your programme, different programmes like you've obviously brought up here may have sort of slightly different requirements. So our interior design students do use some specialist software. The university has obviously got its own software that's available on site that you'd be able to access. So as part of if you were, for example, required to learn CAD, you would have that facility there. We also have what we call the virtual labs, and they allow students to be able to access that software on a more basic laptop, even though the software actually would normally require a more higher spec machine. So what I'm trying to say in a sort of quite a roundabout way, is that the laptop specification, you may choose to buy a higher spec laptop because you may prefer to have those things yourself, but you can also access some of our specialist software on a more basic laptop because we have this virtual labs facility. If you've got a very specific query that you want us to follow up, feel happy to contact ADH Advice, and we can also provide you some specific guidance. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Have a look at the next question. We've got plenty of comments coming in. If you do think of any questions, just leave them in the chat next to our faces, and we'll try our best to answer them for you today. So this one's from M. Shah, who says, can DMU art students download Adobe Suite for free?
So in terms of Adobe, we do have licenses to be able to support Adobe Creative Cloud, which covers that suite of Adobe programs, and those can be accessed by students as part of their learning where those are required for those programs. We also have software available, like I say, on site in terms of our specialist spaces, and also in some of the computers in the library, so you'll be able to access that software.
Lovely, thank you. I remember when I was a student, I literally lived in the library because they had all of the Adobe software that you could possibly want available. So it is there for you to access as well. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So thank you for your question, Taz. Hello. And they've asked again about a specific course. This is what equipment is needed for graphic design.
So in terms of graphic design, I think if you're studying BA Honours graphic design, that's actually in our Faculty of Computing, Engineering and Media, so they would be able to answer that query. So again, if you'd want to contact the ADH Student Advice Centre, we can always forward that on to that specific area.
Lovely, thank you. And there is, if you are in the Faculty of Computing, Engineering and Media, there's another live stream happening to answer those questions right now for you. So if you go back to the hot topic or the email where you click the link, just click on Computing, Engineering and Media instead, and you might be able to get your answer to your question now in real time. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got another question here, which says, does Masters in Product Design focus on UX designing also?
Wow, that I'm afraid I can't necessarily answer that question. I'm sure it's a fantastic question, but product design isn't my background. My background's fashion buying, actually, and I know obviously Paul's is fashion and textiles. Unless Paul has some other particular knowledge around this, if we could perhaps take your query away, and then we can ask the team specifically about that for you and be able to get back to you. So please contact the ADH Advice Centre, and we'll deal with that directly. Great question.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. We've got a question from Ali. Is there any software I should get for architecture, or is it not necessary?
I wouldn't say at this stage you need to get any software. We do, like I say, have a lot of sort of basic sort of software that students access, things like Microsoft 365, etc. Architecture does use a lot of specific software, but like I say, you will be able to get access to that through your program or through the machines. And then as you move through your architecture program, if you're wanting to be able to get any specific software, you can ask the team about that. And it may depend on what program you are and what level of study you are.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, there's a lot of questions coming in about what software people need. This one's again from Lisa. Can you please advise what software we use for live online sessions? Thanks.
Shall I take this one? Okay, so there are two main programs that you'll be using. One of them is Microsoft Teams, and the other one is Blackboard Collaborate. Now, I'd like to just take 1 minute of your time to really plug your engagement with Blackboard. Blackboard will become your knowledge center for everything. Blackboard is a virtual learning environment. It's where you'll find all of your module handbooks, program handbooks. It's where communications about your modules will be sent out from your tutors, but it's also where some of the live synchronous online teaching will take place as well, in a little tab on the left-hand side that says Blackboard Collaborate, and that will take you to the room. Very easy to use, and please make Blackboard your second home, because you're going to spend so much time looking in there over your course. What will be useful to know, though, is in your induction schedules, many of those induction events are being held in Blackboard Collaborate. So on the schedule that's being sent out this week with new URL links, click on the link, add your name, and it will take you into that room. So you'll already start to use Blackboard.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, when you're a student, Blackboard is literally like your everything. So do make the most of it. And Microsoft Teams is a really, really good platform to use as well. And we've got a question here from Tyler. What will I need to bring every day for performing arts? Big question.
Okay, so I can take that. So we sent with our welcome, you should all receive a welcome letter as part of the correspondence that we've sent you. And with the welcome letter, if there's any subject-specific equipment, that will be included with the welcome letter that's been emailed to you. Not all students for their course will have subject-specific equipment or reading lists, but if you have, it will have been sent to you. I believe for performing arts as well, they're also using Padlet. So you should have already been informed about Padlet. So please look at Padlet, because I believe that has been updated with information about what you will need to bring.
Perfect, thank you. And this one's from Jamie. Okay, so he says, how strict are the policies on plagiarism, and do you tend to use Harvard referencing?
So Jamie, in terms of the vast majority of our programs, yes, do use Harvard referencing. We have lots of really helpful information and guidance available from our library that really helps students to start to get to grips with this, because I think over the years there's been so many different resources and so many different ways to capture how to reference correctly. You know, that's a really important thing that we do. We do help to support our students in terms of this and how to reference. Like I say, there's online support, and this is often discussed in part of your teams. We do have very strict policies around plagiarism and bad academic practice. Those are all in our student regulations, but essentially our main tool that we use is Turnitin, which is essentially like a text matching software that looks for patterns in your work and matches. But we do often use that. You can upload your assessments into Blackboard and look at that matching in Turnitin. So we try and help to support students to do good practice and avoid bad academic practice as part of your learning. So you'll get more guidance, and also please look in your program handbook, because that's got some really good information and advice and people you can go and speak to specifically if you're concerned, like our academic practice officers.
Yeah, there's loads of helpful information from the library and online available for you as well. And the DMU also, I think there's some tools that DMU recommends that help you with your Harvard referencing as well. It can be a little difficult to get your head around at first when you're not used to it. But you do, when you've got through your first year, it would be like a second language to you. So don't worry about it. And we've got all the help and support here for you as well. So we've got a question here from S. Thomas. I'm doing history with Spanish. Is there any communication between the two faculties?
Well, the great news to be able to give you there is that they're actually based in our faculty and both within the same school. So both history and Spanish are, well, all our language provision is based in the School of Humanities and Performing Arts. So yes, there very much is communication. And we also have specialists who manage our language provision as well. And there's very sort of close communication to make sure that that works really effectively.
Perfect, thank you. Great news there. Okay, and this one's from Paula. I love your picture, Paula. Is that a cat? How often will fine art students be in the studios?
Paul, I can't answer that really specifically, I'm afraid, today, because I don't have all the information available for every programme that we have, because we have such a broad range of offer. In terms of our fine arts students, though, obviously studio practice is really important, and we are trying to maximise that as part of our programme. What you'll find is you'll be getting your timetable shortly. It will be in the next couple of weeks, so do look out for that, and it will give you those specific timetable sessions.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, as soon as you'll get your timetable, that I think a lot of students feel more sort of happy and more confident when they get their timetables, because they know exactly what they're doing, but they are coming. And yeah, another question here, when will we receive the timetable? I think there's a few dates, isn't there, depending if you're a new student or a returning student. I want to say new students are on it's either the 1st of October or 28th of September. I will come back to you and we'll find that out. I can't remember which one.
Thursday, the 1st of October. So
Thank
Thursday, the 1st of October for new undergraduate students. If you're a postgraduate student, it will be Sunday, the 4th of October, and that will be via mydmu.ac.uk.
See, much better than I could say it, Jo. Perfect, thank you. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. Oh, I think this is a question to another student. It's really great to see you all talking to each other, asking each other if they're doing product design MA. If we could have another question. Okay, so these are the questions that were sent in to us before the live stream now, but if you do have any other questions, please do leave them in the comments for you, because we are here to help you right now and answer them. And if we can't get around to your question today, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the contact details for the Arts, Design and Humanities Student Advice Centre, with their email address and phone number there. So do feel free to get in touch with them as well, or contact us on social media. So this question is, how will I make an appointment to see my tutor face to face?
Shall I answer that question? The easiest way is to email your tutor. So when you get onto my DMU, you'll be able to see who your personal tutor is. And if you're not quite sure who your personal tutor is, you can always go down to the Student Advice Centre. We'll be able to advise you. But the best way to contact your tutors is to just simply email them. Make an appointment.
Sorry. You'll also find when you get your programme handbook, it's got all the information about who your programme staff are, and it's got all their contact details in there. I would say the email is our preferred method of contact, because it leaves a nice sort of trail and allows us to be able to get in touch with you. Face-to-face appointments will be available, and we'll obviously be making sure that we do those in an appropriate and a safe way. Or students can also meet tutors virtually, via the tools that Paul talked about, via Blackboard Collaborate or Microsoft Teams.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, and this is another one about a reading list. I think we touched on this earlier, but it says, will I be sent a reading list before I begin my course on the 5th of October?
So if you have a reading list, it will have been sent to you with your welcome letter and your induction schedule. If your course doesn't have a reading list, it won't have been sent to you in advance, but it may have a reading list included in your programme handbook, which, as Claire has said, you'll be able to access once you start your studies, and will be referred to in your induction week next week.
Perfect. We'll come to you, Paul, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, desperate to plug Blackboard a little bit more. And every module will have what's called a resource list. So that might be more than just reading. It might be video clips, it might be periodicals, etc. And they're all published in the materials list section that you will find on your module Blackboard shell.
Lovely, thank you. You'll get really tired of hearing about your module Blackboard shell, but it's so, honestly, so helpful. Do go check it out when you get access to Blackboard, because it'll have everything that you need there for your course as well. We've got another question here now from the comments. Are the materials sent to us with the welcome letter only for year one? Will we be needing all of those books after year one?
I think that's a question for you to ask next week in induction week, from your programme leader, probably, unless Claire or Paul would like to add anything else.
I would just agree, really. What you are asked to, purchase or look at might be relative to the particular programme. I just wanted to sort of assure you as well that when we do put books on things like our reading list and the resources that Paul talked about, they go through to our library, and our library makes sure that they look at the provision of those resources against student numbers that we have on those programmes. So I can see from your point of view, Con, you're perhaps wondering, you know, do I borrow these? Do I buy them? So as Joe said, by all means, ask your programme team next week, and then you can make those decisions, those important financial decisions about where you're investing.
Definitely. And what I would recommend as well, we've got DMU has some Facebook groups online. So the one for your year will be New to DMU 2020. And some students who are in second year, third year, fourth year sometimes post with their books that they have, and they're selling them for cheaper than they would normally go for. So if that's the route you're going to go down, definitely join our Facebook groups. If you go onto our DMU page, they're all there for you, and that might help you as well. Okay, and we've got another question here that was sent to us before, which is, how will I hand in assessments / complete exams?
Do you want me to answer that?
You can all answer it if you like.
Does Joe want to go first? We're all trying to give each other facial simples. Sorry, Joe.
In terms of handing in assessments, you'll hand them in via Turnitin, and this will be included in your programme handbook to describe how you do this. In terms of exams, some of our subjects, such as Arts and Festival Management, English and History, also have exams, and those exams take place in May every year normally. Other subjects don't have exams. Art and design subjects don't normally have formal exams.
And if I could just add that each module that you study and each assignment within that module will have a project brief that includes assessment details. So for every project you're working on, there'll always be information about when to hand in and how to hand in. It will be there.
Perfect, thank you. Did anyone else have anything else to add for that question?
I was just going to say that this year, obviously in May, we did our examinations online, and that worked really successfully. We found that was really good, noting that we had students that weren't necessarily even in the UK. So we did it in such a way over an extended period of time that students could do it in their own time frame. And also it helped to support students who perhaps normally got a little bit more time based on a learning difference as well. So we've got good experience of adapting things like exams, you know, where necessary.
Of course, yeah, that's really great to hear. Thank you. And we did have a little comment that just popped up from Lisa, which says, thanks for doing this. It's nice to see some faces and questions answered. You're welcome. We are all here for you. We know it's going to be really, really different this year, so we might have to get used to seeing each other on a screen for a while, but hopefully we'll get back together soon. And it's nice to have events like this and talk to you through the comments as well. So thank you for joining us. And we've got a comment there from a page on the screen which asks, how often will we be using workshops giving social distancing issues?
Paige, to answer that, I think it depends on your programme and depends on the requirements of that programme. So our workshop and our studio access, like I said before, is being sort of carefully thought about how we can maximise that for you to be able to get the most from your programme, make sure we deliver that programme exactly as it's required, but obviously maintain those social distances. So in your timetable, you will see how often you're using the workshops. We are obviously, you know, looking at and abiding by the social distancing as well, and looking at how we can bring students into campus more effectively. So in some areas, what we're doing is actually bringing students in for a longer period of time over a shorter window, so that they can actually have really effective use of those workshops. And we'll obviously review that as government guidance goes forward, but you will get access to the workshops if they're required for your programme.
Of course, thank you. And yeah, the workshops at DMU are just second to none. Like the facilities that the uni and especially ADH has, all the studios are just absolutely fantastic. So I hope you're all really excited to get in there and using them. We've got another question here from Amy. How do we apply for financial support for money towards materials for architecture? And I guess that could apply for other courses in the faculty as well.
Yes, so Amy, if you might have noticed on the web pages for our courses, there is something called the DMU difference that talks about, and there's some really useful information there about various programs, about expectations around costs, and about DMU difference awards, which help to support students where they've got additional financial support outlay related to their particular program. So for example, in architecture it could be around model making. So please have a look at that, because that will give you the specific information about that.
That's perfect, thank you. If you're unsure where the link to that is, Amy, and we'll happily leave it in the comments for you to click when the stream finishes as well. Okay, this is a question from Deanie, which says, will we be needing webcams for online classes?
Paul, did you want to take that one?
Yeah. I think if possible, if you have a computer with a camera already built in, all the better. I think where possible and people are comfortable to show their image as part of that, it will be great. It will help us all to get to know each other. It will help with the feeling of talking to people and not just the screen. And from a tutor point of view, sometimes I use the camera function to help answer questions. So I might ask people to switch their camera off for one answer or on for another one, and that helps them see how many people. And so the online experience will be more than just sitting watching a webcast. It will be interactive, and the more opportunities you have to interact, whether that's through typing, voting, or actually expressions on your face, the better it will be for all of us.
I completely agree with you there, Paul. Like sometimes I know when we first came into this online working way of doing things, I didn't want to put my camera on at all. I felt really shy. But after a while, I started sort of putting my camera on a little bit more, and it helps you connect with people. It's really like it can be really easy to feel quite isolated at this, while all this is going on. So it's nice to have that face-to-face interaction. It's not, but it's very similar to it. So do try and connect with your peers where you can, but also alternatively, if you don't feel comfortable, that's okay as well. Okay, we've got another question here. Oh, did you want to pop in there, Claire, as well?
I was just going to say as well, I noticed that our last question person had actually got a picture on there as well. So obviously if people don't necessarily want to have the camera on, it's still nice to have a picture so we can kind of get to know people. I think it's just really, really important to be able to do that and put a face to the name, and obviously vice versa.
That's a really great tip, thank you. Okay, we've got another question here from Jay Sal at the bottom, asking what sort of things will happen in the induction week next week? Oh, you're on mute there, Joe.
This depends on what course you're joining. So you should have all received an induction schedule with your welcome letter that you've received already. You will also receive an updated induction schedule with links if your induction schedule has been updated. It consists of all sorts of things which you'll find really, really interesting and useful, from talks from your programme leader and meeting the other students on your course, to IT sessions, to library induction sessions. But please have a look at your induction schedule. If you haven't got an induction schedule, which would have been sent with your welcome letter, please contact ADH Advice, as it says down below, via email, please. But please make sure you follow all of the activities on your induction schedule.
That's perfect, thank you. Paul, do you want to come in there as well?
Yeah, just really quickly to add, the whole idea of the induction week is to gently and in a friendly way help you settle into what is going to be your next big piece of study on the course. So you will get to meet your program team, you will see the key staff, the program leader, probably even the head of school will pop in as well. There'll be opportunities to have discussions, ask questions. There'll be a library and learning services IT induction, which is for everyone in the faculty at the same time. So lots of those questions and concerns will be answered there. There's a chance to meet with your personal tutor. So please do engage with that induction week. A lot of the easy part of being a student will happen during induction week, meeting people, knowing who to talk to, and just knowing how the university works.
Perfect, thank you. And we've got another question from Angelika at the bottom asking if there's a deadline for registering.
Okay, I can take that. If you've been invited to register online and you haven't yet, please do so straight away, as soon as you can. If you can please ensure you do this by the end of tomorrow. This is so that on Friday we can email all students that are fully registered. Obviously, if you haven't registered by then, you won't receive any further communications from us. If you've got any problems at all or queries about online registration or about confirming your registration, then you can either contact ADH Advice, or if you're having technical issues with online registration, please contact registrationqueries@dmu.ac.uk, and that will have been included in your invitation to register online as well.
That's perfect, Jo, thank you. And we've got another question from Ali, very similar to that one actually. How will we know when we've been fully confirmed and registered?
That's a really good question, Ali, so thanks for asking that. Now, unfortunately, as it stands at the moment, you don't get an automated comms once you've completed part 2 of registration. So that is a really good question. But what we are doing, however, is chasing students who haven't registered yet. So if you don't hear anything, that means everything is good as long as you've completed online registration. And if you did that before the 16th of September, you will have also been asked to complete confirmation of registration. So that's 2 things you need to do. If you have registered online after 16th of September, you only need to do that. You don't need to do anything else. But we will be sending out comms on Friday afternoon, just confirming that you're registered and explaining about access to IT systems.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you again, Ali, for the question, because I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering that as well. There's one here from Olivia. Hi, Olivia. I don't think we've heard from you in the live stream today yet. Asking, do students have access to any group chats with their course peers before the course starts? I guess our DMU Facebook groups are really handy in that respect, because you can connect with people on loads of different courses across the universities. You can start talking about what societies you might want to join. They're a really good starting point. But from an ADH perspective, is there any sort of anything like this for the faculty as well?
Can I? During the induction week, there'll be many opportunities to engage with your peers, either through structured sessions or again through Blackboard. There is a permanently open course room where as groups you can go in there anytime and have chats, conversations, maybe plan activities, decide on questions together, everything. And that's there all the time in every module. So it doesn't have to be just one space with lots of people trying to get in it. You can go in that room module by module. And I suppose generally, one big tip I would give to everybody, please don't ever disappear or be quiet. Talk to us. If you've got a question, you're not sure about something, talk to your course team, your course leader, your personal tutor, somebody. Let us find the answers with you, for you.
That is a perfect tip. Thank you, Paul. I hope you all wrote that down, because that's really helpful. Everyone, like, if you do have a question, yeah, just speak up and let us know what you're going through or what you need help with, because everyone is here to support you. We've got another question at the bottom here. Do we need to buy all of the essential materials before the start of the course, or can that be done in the future?
I suppose, again, that's going to be very dependent on which course you're studying. And that would be a good question to talk about during the induction week with your course team. Maybe there are some key pieces of equipment that you will need right from week 1, other ones that maybe could hang on a little bit longer. I'm sure the course team would love you to ask a question like that, because it shows you're really engaged with the subject area.
Lovely, thank you. Right, so we are coming to the end of the stream now. We've got one more question at the bottom there. How do I let my course leader know if I have to self-isolate and cannot attend a face-to-face session?
So I think primarily we'd ask them to email their course leader to let them know. So I think in terms of any absences, to let your course leader know, to let your module tutor know. We do monitor students' attendance, and obviously we'll be monitoring that in live face-to-face sessions and in live online sessions. So in both sort of circumstances, please let them know if you're not able to attend at all. Also, in terms of, you know, the broader issues around sort of self-isolation, obviously we would, the other resources that I talked about, you know, the DMU safety, the shared commitment, etc. Do look at those, because that also sort of helps to give you that security about the things that you should do and about keeping yourself and everyone else safe around campus.
Perfect, thank you. And if you do have any questions about safety at DMU, we've just launched a new section of our website dedicated specifically for that. There's loads and loads and loads of information on there, plus a really, really long list of FAQs. So if you go to dmu.ac.uk/your DMU safety, that's all there for you. So hopefully that helps answer some of your questions as well. So unfortunately, we have actually come to the end of the live stream now. Thank you everybody so much for joining us today. And we hope that this has been really, really helpful for you. Thank you to our lovely members of faculty who've joined us on the stream today. It's been lovely to see your faces and have a little chat as well. And if you have any more questions, we've got the little contact details for the ADH Faculty Advice Centre, Student Advice Centre at the bottom there for you. adhadvice@dmu.ac.uk or 0116 257 7394. So if you do have any questions or we've not had the time to answer your question today, do send it to the Advice Centre, or of course you can always reach us on social media as well, and we'll do our best to signpost you or answer the question for you. So is there anything else anyone else would like to add before we say goodbye? Go for it.
One thing, when you obviously come to DMU and you come to the faculty, please take advantage of all the opportunities you have available to you, you know, right from the start of induction. And obviously, you know, you're doing great because you're here already in this live stream, so that's a fantastic start. But there are so many things the university to get involved with, and you can really sort of maximise out that student experience. And if there's anything you're not sure about, or you struggle, or there's anything where, you know, you may be absent for a little bit and you're worried about catching up, like Paul says, please just come and talk to us. We're here to help. We're all friendly, as you can see. Your programme teams are very friendly and supportive, and we're just really excited to get you here and to start that learning journey. So thank you.
That's a lovely message, Claire. That's really, really lovely. And like you say, everyone, I think everyone's really, really friendly at DMU, and you'll become part of the DMU family, is what I like to say. I think we're all really quite a close-knit community on campus. So congratulations once again, everyone, for getting in. And I wish you good luck with all your studies. Thank you for joining us today. Take care and bye.